Hi, it's Tansel here, and today I'm going to talk about two very powerful ways that you can memorize your memory palace. Let's go. Now, one of the most difficult things to do, and this is what I've noticed when doing my memory training, is to actually memorize your locations in your memory palace. So some people call it memory palace, method of loci, journey system, location method. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, check out my video that I'll put in the comments below and you should be able to learn more about the memory palace. Now, the difficulty with remembering memory palaces is that you can have a lot. So instead of having 10 locations, a lot of people usually make 50, 60, even a couple of hundred. I've actually got 300 odd locations just walking down the street, going into petrol stations and going into cafes and even McDonald's into the counter and so forth. So you can get quite detailed in your creation of the memory palace. But what you want to be able to do is remember those locations so you can use it in your training, in your memorizations. Here are two real powerful tips that will help you get there. Now, the first tip that I have for you is visualization. Now, how does this work? You know that visualization is using all the skills that you can imagine to create something that is highly engaging in your brain. Now, when you create your locations, let's take my one for example. The location I might have around my house is my first location is my mailbox. Second location is the door. Now, what people tend to do is just see an image of a mailbox and then see the image of their door. You need to be able to visualize and engage and make those locations memorable. So how does that work? What you can do is you can go to the mailbox, and if it's one of those foldable flippy ones, you can play around with it. If it's just a circular hole, you can put your arm in there. You can feel the mailbox. You can check out if there's mail in there. You can do all sorts of things, but what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to engage and really get deep into the visualization of that location. Same with the door. Don't just visualize a door. What can a door do? Think of the attributes of a door. It could have a doorknob. It could have a door handle. It could have one of those knockers, right? You can open and shut a door. What if you shut the door on your fingers? Has it ever happened to you, right? It's painful, and that pain will help you remember. Okay, so visualization of the locations will help you remember. Now, if you've got 60 locations, if you do that for every single one, you're going to remember those locations, right? If you jump on a TV, right, you're going to know that the TV is going to smash or break, right? Not in real life. Obviously, we're doing this in our imagination. So think about that on making your locations memorable, not just images or not just written down in a spreadsheet, which is what I have, or written down in a notepad, right? Go to each location and try and make it memorable. If you've got a kitchen table, well, what do you do on a kitchen table? You know, what does it feel like? You know, what if you smash your nose on the kitchen table? What would happen? What would the noise be? Do you see what I'm saying? It's all about engaging in the visual side and using your senses and making those locations memorable. And because of that, you'll be able to remember those locations so you can use it for your memory training or remember lists or, you know, do other awesome things that you can do with the memory palace. Tip number 2, again, this is the best way that I've personally learned to memorize my locations. Now, I've got thousands of locations. Unfortunately, they've been created for competition purposes. I don't need that many because there are better strategies of memorizing. But again, I use this for memory training myself. So the second method that I love, which is probably the better method for me personally, is memorizing on the locations itself. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you've created, let's say, 20 locations around your house or anywhere else, the best thing to do is memorize a bunch of words or playing cards or whatever you want to memorize onto the location. So, for example, you want to memorize a set of numbers. Right? Now, if you don't know how to memorize numbers, I'll put the link down again in the comments description below on how to memorize numbers. There is a system called a major system, but the trick there is you want to create an image for a pair of digits. So for example, the number 17 comes up and on my mailbox. I want to picture a dog, right? So D is 1, G is 7. So I'm going to create the word dog. So dog and mailbox. Now, instead of picturing a dog sitting next to a mailbox, that's kind of boring. I want to be able to create an engaging story. So maybe the dog is eating the mailbox and maybe there's mail in there and is chewing on this mail, and all the papers coming out from my mail into my mailbox, right? So this is a kind of engaging story that you want to be able to create. My door now, so let's say the number 74 comes up. For me, that's a car. 7 being a k sound, 4 is an R. So I'm going to create the word car. Now, I park my car sort of close to the door, but what if I reverse back a bit too much and I go through the door? Now it's engaging. Now, I bought myself a really nice car and I don't want that to, break or get damaged. So unfortunately, bang, it's hit my door. It's gone through the door, right? Again, I feel that pain. If you can feel pain or the total opposite, then you'll be able to remember a lot better. Not just what you're trying to remember, but the locations as well. That's what memorizing on a location does. It helps you to remember your locations as well. So there you go. There's 2 tips for you. The first one being visualization. So make your locations memorable by engaging in all your senses. And also number 2 is memorize onto your locations, because if you memorize onto your locations, you'll not only remember what you're trying to remember, but you'll remember the holding spot, which is the location in itself. So hopefully that's helped you. I've got some more videos on, say, memorizing your major system and a few other things as well. So keep your ideas coming. Thank you very much. We're hitting 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Please like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.